trying to think. You know.
Okay. Thank you for what? Thank you for smoking.
Oh, it's not that old.
Yeah, 2005.
You were like 3.
R-rated movie in 2005.
You were like 3 years old.
No. Let's pull up the calculator. Let's see.
I was 6 in
2005 minus 1998. I was 6 turning 7. So
Wow, way to out yourself, dude.
As a child, or out myself as what? A programmer?
Does that mean you can't?
All right, let's get started.
Yeah, let's get started.
We got some new peeps here. What's up, Marker?
Yeah.
Oh, you advertised this to system students, didn't you?
Well, I mean, I linked it, so.
Do we want to spam them?
No, let's not worry about that.
Okay. You're too afraid they might understand that you're a human being and not a professor?
I'm no one.
You're no one? You're just a hacker?
I'm nothing.
Your camera's
shadows and dust.
Your camera's very out of
anonymous.
focus, but
good. My life is out of focus.
Okay.
It's an analogy, man.
Do you want an
analogy?
Do you want to expand on this and tell the people what you've been up to?
Oh, okay. Let's get started. So
yeah,
that's what I'm doing.
So, AKK, what you been up to, man?
I bought an iBook G4 from like 2004.
Why would you buy? Well, okay, so you're making fun of me for this movie. It was 2005. You bought a computer from 2004 with a outdated architecture. So why?
Dude, PowerPC is great. Let's it's a great little computer, right? It runs 10.4 Tiger. I can browse the modern web on it. Like, I don't need a Linux laptop. I've got this. It's slow and it only has 256 megabytes of RAM. But I bought it.
Megabytes?
Yes.
Sorry, what was that?
256 megabytes of RAM.
You can't even. How do you fit your anime into memory, man?
Well, so, you know, it's like DMA. I don't know how it actually works when you're playing a video file. Yeah, say...
You know what's funny? You know what's crazy? I think that's one of the first computers I bought my wife.
Really?
I bought an iBook.
I'm honored.
It was used, but it was, you know.
We're still launching Firefox. I clicked it like 30 seconds ago. Man,
so what have you been doing with the iBook? What have you been doing with the iBook?
So I am trying to get Mac OS 9 running on it. Because the whole reason I bought it was I wanted an old Mac that was also new enough to run modern software, but also retain the ability to run Mac OS 9 in like an emulated environment. This is for hackers, by the way, so this is your fault. And I have...
Because he made you sign up for the course, right?
Well, no, so he's like, talk about something you're passionate about. The W word?
Wait, are you gonna run your video game off of the
iBook? I mean,
yeah.
I can, if I can find a Game Boy emulator for it. But I bought it for...
You only need one layer. You only need one layer of emulation. You don't need, of retroness. You don't need 2.
Well, do we get extra points if we do 2?
I mean, your classmates can vote you extra points.
Anyone who votes me extra points gets a discount on the T-shirt. That is to be determined.
Oh, yeah. Nolan asked, how much was that iBook?
So I paid $40 for it. But then I paid...
40 isn't bad.
I paid $10 in shipping, so it's not great. Like, it was one of the cheaper ones, actually. Like, it was hard... I spent an extra $20 on it to get up to a gig. I think, yeah, so I'll have 1.2 gigabytes of RAM once the RAM comes in. That'll hopefully make
That's not a bad price, to be honest.
That's not a bad price.
You're in like the
$40.
valley before your technically starting to get really old.
I
where
mean,
it's like
yeah.
actually really expensive.
I mean, but it like in all fairness, it is beat to crap. So like the keyboard is now missing a key after I tried messing with it. The battery surprisingly holds a charge. That's one of the reasons I bought it. But yeah, it also has like the old buyer's like.
Dude, are you gonna tell me that 2004 iBook has better battery life than a modern Linux laptop?
Yes, I'm gonna tell you that.
All right, Zeph, what you been up to, man?
I've just been enjoying school. You know, being a senior, you can choose pretty much every class you take. Yeah, that's been fun to just learn about the stuff I'm interested in and not be bothered with, you know. Hang on, let me allow
18 credit
There
hours.
we go.
What did I?
No, I'm only taking 15.
Only 15?
15? Only 15?
I thought you
That's
said
not a light load.
Equivalent of 18.
That's like a normal. That's like an average load, man.
It's a light load.
That's average, man.
No, it's light when you have 2 majors.
Oh, nice flex, bro.
I know. I'm toss it out there. Yeah.
All right. So,
what about you? What have you been up to?
well, I've been in quarantine.
Yep.
So, I'm happy to say that I went to get tested on Wednesday, and my family and I got tested, and we're all negative. Well, except for my daughter. She did test again. And so I do not have corona, at least not
that
yet.
you think of,
hopefully, hopefully for the foreseeable future. But I'm still in quarantine for another week. So I've been stuck at home with Zoom issues. So my kids are using Zoom because their school is at home now because there was an outbreak at school. I wonder why. I don't know. And so they're at home, and I honestly hate hybrid. Whether I'm doing it or my kids are doing it, it's just terrible because it's now like everything has to be scheduled, and there has to be like a calendar to know exactly when to log into Zoom, and I have to figure out what the Zoom link is, and if there's a password. It's terrible. I hate it. And then of course Zoom keeps crashing on me on Linux. So
You could try having your kids using a real operating system.
well, they're using Chromebooks.
Oh, so that's...
which is fine, except there's certain features that aren't on Chrome because it's Linux.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like the key feature is that they're taking choir and like piano classes via Zoom,
Huh.
but like Zoom does like auto, the echo filter thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it doesn't on Linux though.
But they want they want them to turn it off. They want like original. They call it original sound, but there isn't a setting on Linux to turn off the filtering.
Really?
Huh.
Yeah, and so
Is that Linux or
I
just
looked
like Chrome Linux?
Well, for sure, Chrome on Linux. There's a way to lower the filtering.
Yeah, you can't.
But there's
turn
no
it
way
off.
to like completely.
Oh, does it go to off?
Huh. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't go to off. So
Interesting.
It says to set it to low for music, but I guess you can only do that on the Windows and Mac clients.
no, on Linux you can set it to low.
Yeah.
But still on.
But on Windows, there's a way. There's like a enhanced like original audio setting. Windows and Mac. And then the other big problem, as you guys know, in my hackers class, is that I can't share like videos with audio on Linux. The sound is just cancerous, and it's just super staticky.
Wait, are you using Pulse yet?
I am using Pulse.
Pipewire.
No, I'm using Pulse.
Oh, you're back to Pulse? I thought you were on Pipewire.
Yeah, and so, I mean, let's be honest, right? Like, I think as a Linux user, like I know like nothing's ever gonna be perfect. And that's not the reason why I use it. I don't use it because it's perfect. I put up with its flaws.
Flawed reason.
Yes.
I put up with its flaws for the sake of freedom and control. And so, it's just like, I love certain people, even though they're flawed. It's just part of who they are, man. So,
The Linux sound sharing is heavenly.
No, it's not. Audio on Linux is terrible.
We tested it like a year ago, and it was terrible then.
I'm just happy I can play like music in the background, like when I teach on Zoom, and then like the students can't hear it. I just love that I can do that, and so
You're gonna love it.
thanks, Leonard. Thanks, Leonard. So, all right, let's get into our news. We will talk about we plan on talking about how to customize your shell for those of you interested in that in a little bit. But what we usually start off with is a news roundup. We kept it short this week. There wasn't that much news anyways. But we will keep it short, but then we'll go into how to customize your shell or examples of the shell customization in a little bit. The first article for this week is Intel, as we've talked about in past, isn't doing so hot. And their response to the M1 was what, Zephin?
Yeah.
Can you summarize for us?
Yeah, I think I sent this article to you earlier this week. So basically, Intel needs to tell its shareholders and basically everyone how it's responding to the M1 and how they stack up. So they're trying to compare their 11th gen x86 processors to the M1. And this is what they're saying. They're saying the productivity on the Intel system is about 30% faster overall. And in certain applications, it's like over 3 times faster. And there's a lot of problems with this approach. Like you could do this with any processors, essentially. You could say, hey, look, at this random edge case, this one's faster. That's kind of what Intel's doing. So a lot of people saw these slides come out and they pointed to that this is very cherry picked. So Intel went to all of the benchmarks in which they had a lead and they're only displaying those. It's a very sort of desperate thing.
This is like...
Well, are any of these like common operations though? I mean...
Okay, so they talk about, I think they use a lot of Chrome and Microsoft Office.
Yeah.
So the Chrome stuff they use, where like Intel is the most advantage, is photo enhancement using Web XPRT or something. And the reason that this works so well on Intel is because Intel has hardware acceleration that uses a specific set of instructions that the M1 doesn't. So they are literally picking the tasks that Intel has accelerators for. And Apple's response, it's not that Apple doesn't have accelerators on the M1, they have loads of accelerators. But Apple's accelerators usually are used by like Safari will use some of Apple's accelerators and probably do it better. And it gets funnier too, because I mean, obviously they don't mention battery life in any of these slides, but they did do a battery test, as in the slides on this article. They did do a battery test though. And they changed the device they were testing against. So on all of these, they're testing against the MacBook Pro, and then they swapped it out for a MacBook Air for all the battery.
Jeez.
What?
Because the MacBook Air has like half the battery of the MacBook Pro.
Jeez. And didn't they still
a big
lose?
Yikes, man.
Didn't they still lose that test?
Yeah.
Yeah. Say like
how close it is. It's better performance, but it's close.
It's close. Yeah. Say, jeez.
But the thing is, they pulled something similar to AMD.
Like, everyone does this, like all the time.
No, what I'm saying is like I remember reading like 3 months ago, like Intel released like, oh, actually the new AMD processors aren't that good because it's only because of like something about power management or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Intel has generally had a case against AMD for doing that because they can just point to single-threaded performance, or in the past they could. They could be like, look, we have better single-threaded performance, and that was largely true. It isn't this generation, but anyways, they also, I think AKK had it pulled up. They have this like slide on gaming performance.
Yeah.
This is really funny because, first of all, there aren't games written for the M1 yet.
Yeah, so they're all translated.
All the games that they show, the games that run M1, they're showing the Rosetta like high overhead from translating them scores, where the M1 is honestly barely losing. And then they're mostly just showing that a whole bunch of games don't run on M1, which, I mean, it's kind of not...
Yeah, say that's like... Come on.
I mean, it's kind of fair.
That's
It's
not
kind of
a
like
point. This is
if you care about gaming,
you
you're
wouldn't
not
buy
going to use
a
the
Mac.
M1.
You're not going to
But
buy
you
a Mac.
also
Yeah,
wouldn't buy. You also would not buy an 11th gen i7 1185 G7 because they don't have graphics like they do. They have the
It's Iris
the
All right,
XE.
all right.
Jeez.
So Intel is,
Intel's
spinning
struggling.
struggling PR wise. I mean, I've seen so many YouTube videos lately. It's just like, don't buy Intel, please. It's not worth
Yeah.
it. And
That being said, they're not going out of business. They're doing fine.
no, they're not. But it's clear. It's clear if you can afford it, AMD or the M1's the way to go. If performance is what you want.
But
I do think though there is a case to be made for like the overall experience though.
I don't know.
What's that?
I think AMD Mobile. So there's an overall experience thing and like being able to use x86 applications, but AMD Mobile is now also just generally better than Intel Mobile in terms of power efficiency.
Yeah.
Or performance to power.
But what I'm saying is that up until this point, and we don't know if this year's going to change or not. If you look at like the XPS, or the Latitude or the LeapBook, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of the flagship top tier laptop models, even say Razer, right, which is gaming company, right? Their flagships are all still Intel, right? And if you want like that slick, computer experience, the whole case and everything else well integrated and great build quality.
Yeah.
I still think you're hard pressed to find a flagship AMD machine.
Yeah, Marketplace says
like outside of like the beefcake, gaming machines, you're not going to really find a thin and light AMD machine.
Actually, they're coming around. There's some really high end ones like now starting to trickle through just because AMD.
I mean, there's that one Asus one.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still like paired with the NVIDIA graphics card, which to me still screams like, gaming machine. I'm just talking about a single.
It's paired with like a really low power one.
Yeah.
It's really just used for like it's like the XPS, right? If we're drawing a comparison, the XPS has DGPU too.
Yeah, I don't know. I still think that we haven't seen the flagship thin and light AMD yet, and so. If you're in the market for ultrabook like that, AMD might not be even an option.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, speaking of AMD, AMD is currently hiring Linux engineers.
Oh.
Do you want to click on that?
I did, yeah.
So, AMD does contribute a lot of source code to the Linux kernel, but so does Intel. But it sounds like AMD is trying to step it up a little bit.
It sounds like they just want to beat Intel on yet another front. It was like their acquisition of Xilinx, I think. They're just everything that Intel does, they're trying to do it better.
Zephyr, you should apply. They want a computer science or computer engineering degree.
I don't think I'd be very talented at working on a Linux kernel.
Well,
you should try it anyways, bro.
Don't
Wait, what is the
experience?
What is the preferred experience? What does it say?
They want 8 years of being
8 years.
Yeah, 8 years of being a kernel developer.
Yikes!
Deep understanding of OS concepts, data structures, x86, strong organization and communication. Blah. It looks like they want 8 years for.
Granted, these are for lead roles.
Yeah, I guess manager, but do they have Linux tech?
Oh yeah, no, it's just preferred. Don't worry about it. Just apply anyways.
Is this a base?
We'll see what AMD thinks.
Okay, yeah, there's an entry level one. Yeah, they want a master's.
All right.
Yeah, that's not bad.
No, this one looks actually reasonable.
Let me reopen it. Yeah, say excellent. They want C Python, how everything works.
It's in Austin. This actually looks pretty good. I could apply for this one.
Do it. You won't.
I won't. All right. Now, speaking of laptops.
Speaking of laptops. Another
has
System
been
76 on the scene.
Yeah, there's been a lot of System 76 news lately. So
Yeah,
let's
they've really
bring this
been
up.
popping off.
You mean Clevo laptops have been
Well,
Yes, Clevo
we can
laptops.
talk about that. We can talk about that.
I have no qualms with Clevo laptops.
So this is a review for System 76. So for those of you that don't know, System 76 is a Linux computer. I don't want to say manufacturer. Well, they kind of do manufacture
they're a
desktops.
vendor.
So
They're a system integrator.
they're a vendor.
Yeah.
They're a vendor. They're a system integrator, right? And so what the others were referencing to is for the laptop line, they basically rebrand or white label what's called Clevo laptops, which is the manufacturers, or the ODM is Clevo, and then other people repackage them.
And a whole bunch of companies do this. Like,
Yeah,
it's
so
not like
yeah.
This is not an uncommon thing. So in the gaming segment, you might have heard of Electronics or Main Gear.
Yeah.
Right, those are two popular brands, and they also relabel Intel reference designs. So this is not an uncommon practice.
Or like Walmart does that too. They take
exactly
Clevo designs. Yeah.
But what System 76 does though is they add a little Linux magic dust on it, and so they make sure that the hardware in the machine will work on Linux. They add their own drivers and their own firmware, so they use Core Boot, for instance. Mm-hmm. So I just thought it was interesting because not only was there a review on this unit called the Darter Pro, which admittedly is not the best looking laptop, but Linus Tech Tips. So Linus Tech Tips had a short circuit episode about this, and that's a very mainstream hardware reviewer, and so I thought that was cool that they were finally highlighting.
Yeah.
They've
actually been highlighting more and more System 76 and just like Linux systems in general, which is good.
I'm just mad though because I want them to review the Lemur Pro. So can you go to the System 76 website?
Yeah.
KKK.
I was looking at that, but
so System 76 has designed their own desktops, like from ground up. The thing that's weird about, all their products are generally more expensive because they don't really have high manufacturing abilities. But for these Clevo units, right, which they don't have to manufacture, they're still very expensive.
Yeah, it's boutique, right? You gotta.
Yeah, it's paying a lot of money for Linux, and that's like.
If you think about it, like how many of these are they actually shipping, right? If it's only 1,000, that's not the margin on that. It's not gonna be very good.
No.
But it's hard to sell people on like a boutique Linux experience. Most people think of Linux as like, that thing you put on your old laptop when it's running slow and you just want to mess around. I
think they're in a tough, but they have built a pretty good reputation though.
Yeah,
from my understanding,
their systems are good.
And they offer like lifelong support, and so it's something to consider. And I'm very tempted, but I really want a review of the Lemur Pro. So this is the one that AKK is looking at. This is a 14-inch laptop. It's their thin and light. I really want like non-Reddit review of this because I might be willing to pull the trigger on this, even though it's an Intel machine.
But it doesn't have
because Dell ruined everything.
Doesn't have the nipple. What are you gonna do?
I know, but Dell doesn't either. So
the Darter is a 15-inch?
How are they different? The Darter and the Lemur, because they both look like they have like the same available specs.
This is thinner, and this is a Intel machine. I think the Darter is AMD.
No,
Darter's Intel. Darter has a much uglier keyboard. Lemur has a way nicer looking keyboard.
Yeah, I think Lemur is way nicer.
Yeah, so
they're about the same price too. I configured them almost identically, and they're like the same.
The Darter is bigger. It's way bigger. It's like a 15.6. This is Lemur is like a 14.
Yeah, so it's probably
and it's only like 2.3 pounds. It's like really light.
Oh.
Which is why I kind of really want it, but I'm very unsure about that keyboard though. That keyboard looks a little scary to me.
Which one, the Darter or the Lemur?
A legitimate reviewer review it.
On the Lemur.
Trust. You don't like the keyboard?
That's what I'm waiting for. Yeah. Now, speaking of keyboards, so this is actually really interesting. System 76 is actually coming out with mechanical keyboard as another product. So do you want to click on that?
Yeah. Huh.
And so it's supposed to be like a configurable keyboard with like open firmware that you can reprogram. You can actually download like the CAD thing. And so this is like really cool. Like I really appreciate there's a company, a Linux company, that not just like Linux is on the thing, but it's also like open source design, right? Like
Yeah,
you get
so all of System 76, like even their desktops, you can like open up all the CAD files yourself.
Yeah, so they do open source just about everything.
So I mean, I'm also interested in seeing the review for this keyboard. But
yeah, just to add on, this like isn't like a new thing in like the keyboard world. Like a lot of people who really like keyboards will buy them, bit by bit. So they buy like a backplate and like an enclosure, and then buy all the different switches they want on different keys. But it is interesting that someone like System 76 is doing it.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of surprised they're going into this market though. It seems so niche, right?
It's niche at the same time it's saturated with like a lot of companies that are already doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder though if they're looking at this as this could be a high margin category.
Oh, potentially, yeah.
Yeah, I say there's like I wonder what they would price it at. Probably like 200, 300 maybe.
Because like
$300.
Yeah,
I'll say like Logitech is charging like $200 for like a keyboard, right? So
yeah,
this might be a high margin play for them, which is good for them. All right,
cool.
Let's move on to the next story. So there was a little bit of controversy with the Raspberry Pi OS, formerly known as Raspbian.
Which is now its
for those
own
of you who don't know, those of you who don't know, the Raspberry Pi Foundation has its own Linux distribution that used to be called Raspbian. Now it's called Raspberry Pi OS. And if you use that, which most people do by default, right, it becomes in the SD card or whatever that you usually get with noobs or whatever. Well, recently they added a Microsoft repo by default. Now, do you guys want to guess why they did that, or do you guys already know?
I mean, it doesn't say it anywhere. I'm sure it's an easy guess.
Do you want to guess why they did it?
Let's see if we can get some chat interaction going. Pog. Maybe not.
Why would you want a Microsoft repo? What's something Microsoft get? No, it's
money.
Not money. Well, I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it was money, but I don't think that's the reason. That's not the public reason.
I haven't actually seen this article. I'm gonna guess. Okay, what's the software that like most Linux people use that's by Microsoft is like VS Code.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's VS Code. That's
VS
why.
Code.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they shipped it with it.
And so the reasoning is that they're like, a lot of people want to use VS Code, so you might as well add the repo for VS Code in there because it's non-free, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that did sit well with a lot of Linux free and open source enthusiasts. And I think
source though.
Well, I think the interesting tension is that a lot of people in the Linux community view the Raspberry Pi as like a Linux thing. But I'm not sure the Raspberry Pi Foundation views themselves like that.
No.
I think they're more like Linux is what we use because it's there. But like if we can use Windows, we would. In fact, you can't run Windows on the Raspberry Pi.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And
right?
It makes sense because they're more in terms of like the makerspace sort of area. They're not really like huge touters of
open source. Yeah, so they just use it because.
But I feel like everything I read, like in terms of the open source community, like the Raspberry Pi is like, it's a Linux platform. But this is like an example where it's really not. And that this conflict in community interests, it leads to conflict. From the perspective of the Raspberry Pi Foundation, this makes sense. Mm-hmm. What's up, Seabass? So, all right. Now, there's another community controversy this week that sort of blew up. It's all about our favorite language, Rust. So, AKK, you shared this.
Oh, this one
in the Lug IRC. Do you want to talk about this one?
Yeah. So I'll show the Drew DeVault thing first. Drew DeVault and I don't necessarily agree on all the things, but I wholeheartedly agree with him about his blog post here. Like, in the Rust community, there's this big push for rewriting it in Rust. They'll do anything, right? Rust is this great, like, Rust is bad, yeah. But like they tout Rust as being like fearlessly concurrent. And I'm in a Rust channel actually. I don't think anyone's online, but like but they're like, yeah, Rust is great. It's memory safe, and anyone
It's
who
just like C but better in every way.
yeah, and Reddit uses Rust, and that's really the only mainstream company that I can think of off
But
the
we
top
can
of my
point to it.
Yes, and so like they're trying to like make their own Linux in Rust, or I guess it's not a Linux, it's just a Unix like. But basically, the moral of this article is that rewriting everything in Rust is a bad idea. For basically, it's like, oh, let's change everything because we're a bunch of hive mind nerds. That's opinionated, of course, but it's just like whatever.
Yeah, because it seems like, at least what I got from reading this, was that the push isn't motivated by like a reason why everything should be rewritten in Rust. It's more of like, it is just kind of like this like scary cult, like we need to rewrite everything.
All right,
He
so
calls
so
it a
here's
moral imperative.
so here's the details of this story. Okay, so the problem here is that there's a Python package called I think cryptography. The Python package. So you're like, what does Rust have to do with anything? Exactly. Okay. The problem here is that the Python package rewrote one of the C modules in Rust, making it so that you now need Rust to compile the Python module. So what's the big deal?
It breaks.
Big deal is that
so
Rust,
many things. I'm pulling
Rust, the tool chain only works on a limited set of computer hardware and operating systems. Now, to be fair, they support all of the popular ones. So x86, I believe they support ARM, right?
Yeah.
The problem is that there is a long tail of architectures and operating systems that C supports, right? And so suddenly what happens here is that, if you're using this package, a Python package, suddenly you need to support Rust. But why? I was trying to use a Python package, right? And it turns out this Python package is used by lots of other software, such as Ansible, right? So what this means is that everyone that uses this package can now no longer use it unless they have a Rust compiler supported. And as part of the Void Linux community, this is super problematic for us because we support PowerPC, we support ARM, we support glib, GNU-lib, C, right? We support Muscle. So Rust doesn't work with like half of those things. And so it basically broke half of our architectures or platforms that we used to support. And so what Drew is trying to say is like, fine, Rust is the future. That's great. But instead of everyone rushing towards this feature and leaving platforms behind, let's get the tooling in place so that we can actually compile to PowerPC, compile to alternative C libraries, right? And so I don't think anyone's like, don't use Rust. It's more like, you have to realize when you're releasing software, you're releasing into a community, and you need to work with your packagers. It's very similar to the story we had last week with Google and Chromium, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Google basically dicked over all of the packagers. It's like, screw you guys. It's like,
and the
you're trying to package your stuff. Yeah, we're trying to do all this grunt work to make your stuff available to users, and you just screwed us over, right? Mm-hmm. And so, like, you look at this GitHub post here, it's always people like, dude, you broke my CI. Like, literally, we lost hours of work because of this change,
Yep.
And so that's the story. I'm personally not like against Rust. It's more like I don't really care for it. I won't use it myself.
Yeah, I guess.
And then I'm seeing its impact on the package distribution level. Like it's making everything much harder to compile. So.
Yeah, I think the cult, like, I'm fine with, like, new software being in Rust, but the cult of Rust, in my opinion, goes too far sometimes. But
you know, I, I think it's an interesting question. And when I taught ethics, I tried to bring this up, and no one wanted to engage with me on this question. But on one hand, you're like in Drew's post, right? If you go to Drew's post, he starts by saying, people that argue for Rust say it's a moral imperative, right? That we cannot morally write in an unsafe language like C anymore because it leads to vulnerabilities, security flaws, et cetera, et cetera. We just can't do that. But Drew in this post is trying to say, it's not black or white. In moving to Rust, you're leaving behind platforms or people that are not well resourced enough to make that transition. So you're actually making them less secure by not supporting them.
Yeah.
It's like you're supporting the majority over the minority. And that's somewhat problematic as well.
And it's not even the case that C is inherently not safe. Like, you can write C code to be safe.
Yeah, so...
It's just not guaranteed. The whole point of, one of the great things about Rust is, you essentially have guaranteed memory safety.
Well, actually, I'll contradict you.
Oh, it's not even guaranteed.
Well, I'm saying the Rust people will disagree with you and say that's false, that C is inherently flawed and you should never use it.
Yeah. I mean, there are, C, you can write programs that aren't memory safe in C. It's really easy.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it's
But they're
impossible.
saying it's so easy that people do it all the time. I mean, look what's going to happen in a few months in systems, right?
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be safe faulting all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Just use C++, that's better.
Please stop. No. Stop. All right. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah, wrap the news.
Gaming.
Chúc mừng năm mới to all my Viets out there. That means Happy New Year. I probably butchered that. I apologize. Do not tell my mom and dad.
Oh, we can clip it from Twitch. Don't worry.
Happy Lunar New Year. There's a couple sales that I wanted to highlight for all my gamers out there. So let's go through this here. Do you guys see anything on this list on Humble Bundle?
Dude, No Man's Sky.
Draws your attention?
No Man's Sky is 60% off, dude.
Is that a good game?
It's better now, apparently.
I've never played it, but I've heard it got better.
Yeah,
is there a penguin there? Is there a Steam symbol there?
Yeah, there is.
See it.
Yeah.
I don't see a penguin there, man.
Oh, that's to be a penguin? Well, that's stupid.
Well, penguin, that's literally compilable for Linux.
Yeah,
right?
so it probably runs.
I think you just need Steam. All right.
Yeah.
Let's scroll. What else do they got? Anything else good?
Basketball games.
I've heard good things about Death Stranding. Witcher 3 is probably one of the best games of all time if you haven't played it.
I tried playing that, but it was on a base Xbox One, and it just turned me off the game. I should probably try it again
now. Yeah.
Yeah. Say Civilization, the new Assassin.
Wait, how many Borderlands are there? Why is there so many?
Well, there's
3. Well, there's 3 and a whole bunch of side ones.
Yeah,
there's DLCs and expansion
packs. I see.
Yeah, there's a lot of good.
Civ is up there. I didn't see it, but
yeah,
Civ is great.
Isn't Assassin's Creed Odyssey the new Assassin's Creed? I don't follow that story as much.
I just assume all of them are terrible in terms of frame rate and actual coding.
The one for the PSP back in the day, that was a good one, but Witcher DLC, City Skylines, I hear that's a pretty popular game.
It's pretty good. It's fun. They've got all the DLCs too.
All right, let's look at the Steam store. Steam also has a Lunar New Year sale.
I'll just put up on.
So I was looking at my wish list, and half the things on my wish list are on sale.
That's always problematic.
So Valve might be getting my next paycheck. We'll see here.
Oh, come on. Let me resize the window.
Hey, it happens.
Okay, I'll just resize it manually. Maybe I won't.
Oh,
okay.
Every item on my wish list is on sale.
Yeah, let's check out.
Oh, really?
Let's check out. How do I see?
What they got? What they got here?
How do I see your wish list? Oh, let's see. Just about everything on mine is on sale too. Maybe not the new Half-Life isn't, but
dang, all right.
There's a few of the games, so let's go to the actual thing.
Yeah, just go to the homepage.
New Year's sale. Skyrim, if you want to play Skyrim, or if you haven't played Skyrim.
Oh, Noida? Noida is on sale?
Noida's fun. Big fan.
Noida.
I haven't played it. I've seen it. I
feel like it's something you'd very much enjoy, Bowie.
Golf with your friends, huh?
Call of Duty?
Ganglis agrees with me. Noida good.
Okay, I'll have to check that out. Let's see.
So, if you're stuck in quarantine and have nothing else to do, don't want to do any
you've
homework.
Got some money burning a hole in your pocket.
Let's see, is Wizard of Legends.
It'll go a lot farther now.
There's some Vidya on sale, so...
But if you don't got friends, that's what single-player games are for.
Bro, Wizard of...
Yes, that's what...
Bowie, you got scammed. Wizard of Legends is $5.
No, I bought it for $4.
Oh, well...
Okay.
Wait, is it $5?
Yeah, it's $5.
Okay, you know what? Steam giveaway. I will buy this game for someone.
I'll take it.
I don't know. We have to do a contest of some sort, bro. We have to do a contest of some sort. Okay.
Well, okay. Here. We're gonna talk about Bash customization or shell customization.
Okay.
Yeah. Say,
okay.
But
We should have people send their customization.
Yeah.
Whoever sends the customization, we can raffle.
I like
there we
it.
go.
I like it. Wait, when does the sale? When does the sale end?
February 15. So you have until Monday.
So you have it
by Sunday.
Sunday.
You have it till Sunday. Send us a screenshot. Send us a screenshot of your shell customization, and I will buy you Wizard of Legends.
I will also buy you one. We can give away 2.
You know what? We'll give away 3. Let's do it.
We'll give away 3. We'll give away 3.
There's not even that many people in this chat.
Make it 4. Nolan, will you buy it too? Did Nolan just offer? Are we matched? Are we like? Are we just all going to buy Wizard of Legends for each other?
We're just gonna do a circle. Everyone's gonna buy it for the next person.
We'll buy it. We'll buy it. Okay. And guess what? There's co-op. We can do co-op with this.
How many player co-op?
Just 2.
Just make it 5. Bro,
no. We'll at least get one. All right. We'll get one. All right. So
yeah. Say. Oh wait.
How do they send it in?
We'll make a Google form. So.
Okay, we'll make a Google form.
Nolan, make a Google form for this.
I just bought it for myself.
Add to cart. Yeah, let's buy it. Let's purchase it for myself.
Wait, can I buy it ahead of time?
Yeah, you can. At least I think.
And just save the Steam key?
Let's just try it. I don't actually know. Purchase as a gift. Oh no, you have to have them.
You have to specify a username.
Yeah, so you have to have them on Steam.
But we will do that on Monday.
Yes.
Monday
So
morning.
we'll do that
Sunday.
on
We'll do it
Monday.
on Sunday.
Yes.
We'll do it on Sunday.
Yeah,
we'll do it on Sunday.
Yeah, so you have till okay.
We'll do it Sunday afternoon. So send it to us before then.
Yes.
Send us for exactly.
Yes.
Oh, this is exciting. Yes.
Anywho, that's a great segue to our actual topic then.
Get my addiction.
Okay. So they want Bash prompt customization. Do you want to share your screen, Bowie? You should be able to. If that's what you want to do, I'm not gonna pressure you or anything.
What do you want me to share?
I mean, you typed in SSSH. I assume you were gonna show off Bash customization.
Oh, okay. I'll do something.
I mean, that's up to you.
We all have mine is very moderate, very minorly modified.
Yeah, so
I don't have a whole lot to show.
You just see my terminal, right?
Yeah, we only see your terminal.
All right, where are we? Okay.
You're in home.
So this is my shell.
There are many
so
like it.
I believe in simplicity, and so it's not fancy. Thanks, Paul. So I do username at host name and then the location. If I go to a folder with a Git folder here, so my dot files, you can see that my bash prompt now has the name of the Git branch. So if I do Git branch here, I only have I have 2 branches. So if I do git checkout Deadpool here, I don't want to do that. But I can switch branches and it'll adjust.
We believe you.
So how I do this is that I have some config files. I have a folder called shell. So I'm kind of OCD about this. I split them up in different files. And so I have a profile, which gets loaded every time. Then I have an RC file, which gets loaded only on interactive shells. So let me show you how I do that. So this corresponds to the bash_profile and the bash RC file. So my bash profile looks like this. So I export the shell home. This is just a variable I use. I source the default. So on most Linux systems, there is a etc profile, which is sort of default bash profile. So I go ahead and I source that. The dot actually means source. And then what I do is I loop through a series of names depending on the environment. So the common environment is all of the machines that are common to all those machines. I do it based on host name. So if I have certain shell customizations specific to Deadpool, which is my laptop, then it'll load those. If I'm on my server, say cable, I will load those for that machine. So that's one way to do that. And then final is a way to do a hook for a sort of final thing. Uname is based on different types of operating systems. So if I have Linux-specific settings versus, say, BSD settings or Mac OS settings, I can load that. So that's all sort of set up in this for loop. Then down here, I simply check if I'm running bash, then I will go ahead and load the RC file as well. Now, why do I check for bash? Because this setup actually works for all different types of shells. It works for bash, it works for corn shell or KSH, it works for plain SH, and it should work for ZSH as well. So there was a time in my life where I used different shells, and I was a little bit more wild and exploratory. I now just use bash because it's everywhere, and I'm an old man, so I do old man things. But for a while, I was a little more ambitious, and I hopped between shells. And so this was a way to set it up so that it worked on different platforms. So here's my RC file. Again, I check if I don't have this variable, then I load my dot profile. Then I load in, again, I check for common, the operating system type, the host name, etc. This is all sort of infrastructure stuff, right? Here is what I actually load for common. So I'm very strange, and I have to use VI for everything. So for my shell, for my bash shell, I use VI keys, and I set that here. So I detect if I'm using the bash shell, I will tell it you do set -o VI, you will end up using VI keys.
Jesus.
Okay.
It's a terminal affliction, you know, the
It's
need
VI. It's terrible. Here I turn off the bell so that you might notice on a Linux machine, if you like press backspace all the way, it will like ring a bell. I turn that off in my bash RC. So this is where the magic happens for Git. So down here, what I do is I try to check which branch I'm on. So I actually used to use Mercurial before I used Git. So I still have this in here, even though I don't have any more Mercurial repos. I can probably remove this. And then I just simply check the Git branch. I do some magic with sed, which we'll talk about in a couple weeks in systems, which captures it, and then I put color code on it, and that's what it does. So that's kind of nice. Now, do you notice here I have this case statement? Again, we'll talk about this next week. All these machines here are Raspberry Pis, and they're really slow. So I do not want to do this on a Raspberry Pi because this operation is actually kind of expensive. So I say if I'm on a Raspberry Pi, don't do this. It's not worth it, right?
Dumb question. Wouldn't it be faster to just check if you're running ARM rather than going through host names?
Yeah, I could check if ARM, but I only had a certain number of machines.
Okay.
But ARM is fast now. Like if he has an M2,
I guess.
still want to use it.
Say if he buys a Mac, yeah.
Hey,
All right, so
if an M2 could run Linux, I bet we would use one.
so I have some. No, I wouldn't. So I have some other things.
Aw.
So I have, as I showed in systems, I have some aliases, right? So I have aliases for CP, RM, and MV. I always put a -I, which means to be interactive or ask. So if I try to delete a file, it's gonna ask, "Do you really want to delete this file?" Because I sometimes, accidentally RM star things, which some people have done this week. And so I have that alias. I have this little function, try until, and then I have this alias for MPV, which plays through my HDMI. Although I don't need this anymore because I use Pulse Audio. I can actually get rid of this. But I have basically some commands. So great question marker. The alias for Pseudo is because by default, for some reason, Pseudo would not tab complete without the alias. And it's some sort of security setting. So I say basically alias Pseudo to Pseudo space, and it does tab completion now. It's really weird.
With like,
I forgot why. I forgot why this happened, but I discovered this a few years ago, and so I added this alias and it fixed it. So, like a lot of my config files are like years and years of knowledge that are baked in. Like this MPB HDMI thing, for some reason I still have it, but I haven't used it in a year. So, what else do I have? Let's look at this Linux one. Okay, so for my Linux one, I set like say my alias for my colors, so I add color to my LS. Wow, see, I don't even use these commands anymore. Like I have like these systemd stuff that I don't use. Once I set them, I don't use them anymore. I just don't use them. So, wow, look at all these things I have. I don't even use. Interesting.
You're welcome.
I could probably clean it up. Now, one final thing, and I'll let someone else go, that I'm actually kind of proud of is I have this file called paths. So I create a bunch of functions, and basically, I can automatically export different paths. Suppose I have my home directory has a bin folder, right? It will set it all up for me. So with these functions in place, and we'll talk about functions next week in systems, I can now have a couple one-liners which are like export all the paths under user, under /pub, under home. And this basically will export the library path, the Python path, the binary path, all that good stuff for me. And so this is how I organize my shell. And then one final thing I want to show is this, I set the colors. So I create some aliases for colors. And these are like called escape codes. So that's how I change the colors. And this is here, the PS1, for the systems kids out there. If you want to modify your shell prompt, what you end up doing is modifying your PS1 environmental variable. And so this is my PS1 here. You see here, I got some escape codes. I put in some variables here, and this is how I do it. So that's my shell prompt. You guys want to share yours?
I'll share mine. Or Zephyr, you want to go?
Right. No, you can go first. Mine's
Okay.
extremely basic.
Yeah, mine is also extremely basic.
It's out of my way, and that's all I need.
I'll share my screen just so you guys can see what's going on. Let's pick a terminal so I don't dox anything that's happening on my computer. Oh, did the zoom? Okay, I guess the zoom window goes away. So, very nice Linux. Can I show? There we go. So Bowie uses something called Bash, which I think is inherently inferior to ZSH. I guess you guys can see my whole desktop. You guys, whatever. Okay, so basically with ZSH, I guess, is like sort of a better version of Bash. I don't exactly know the technical term. But I'm pretty simple. The only thing I really do is change my like little prompt thing. I like it on 2 lines, just because 2 lines is better than 1 line. I don't do any
I like 2 lines.
Yeah, so it just makes it easier when you're like spamming like commands. I don't do any fancy Git stuff. I never bothered to learn how to do that, so I just didn't do it. But if I just look at my ZSHRC, I guess I like have a giant history file because I'm the type of person who will forget what I typed in and I need to search my history often. Again, there's the PS1. It looks a little different from like buoys because I guess the ZSH and Bash PS1s are not compatible in any way. And I've got some aliases for like, you know, converting YouTube, changing Vim and VI to using my preferred editor, NeoVim. What else I've got? I've got a lot of... So, like, the biggest difference with, like, my stuff is that, originally, it started out, my shell RC started out on Linux back in, 2017. And then I got a Mac, and then I had to do a bunch of stuff to make it work for the Mac. And, it's all just cobbled together from, this is, this app, Secretive, basically stores your SSH keys in the, Mac Secure Enclave. And it's just a lot of garbage from, Mac and Linux and a bunch of other stuff, but...
So the theme continues in that you have stuff from older systems.
Yeah, it's just the first thing I do when I get a new system or install a new operating system, I just instantly pull out the last device I used, upload my ZSHRC, and then download it, and then from there I have to go and fix everything. But
yeah, I do the same with that, and then I've spent more time on my vimrc than my
my vimrc. I literally I just upload my vimrc, I install Vondel, and then I plug and install. I don't do anything fancy.
But... yeah, but that's still fine if you just have your list of plugins that you like.
But that's mine.
I guess I can show mine. It's super basic, doesn't look too much different from AKK's. Let me also just share that so I don't dox myself. I'm adding that terminal bell. I like that. I'm stealing that from Bowie.
I like the bell.
So this is...
I'm a big bell guy.
Especially on my laptop, it plays the PC speaker sometimes for some applications. So just any way to avoid that's good. I actually have that remove the kernel mod for that. Mine's very similar. I do my
I'm surprised everyone here is doing the 2-line prompt. I feel like
1 line is cringe.
So I have
1 line is so cringe.
I had 1 line forever. I actually had, let's see, this was my prompt for the longest time. So it was the 1 line, and I saw you using the 2-line forever in systems. I was like, you know what? 2 lines better because if I change directories,
it just gets so long.
It's gonna change the length of my what my prompt is.
I hate that. I hate that.
Yeah.
Oops. Actually, I'm doing this dumbly. But yeah, so mine's very similar, but with the new line. Yep. And and as you saw, the Bash RC is very similar. So I have my PS1 at the very bottom. It's very short and simple to get the very few customizations I have. I have some leftover stuff. I have a Go path for...
Was that the P-Buoy path at the bottom?
This is the P-Buoy path.
So you had the No, at the very bottom you had his pub folder from the student machines, and I assume this is on your normal machine.
Oh yeah.
He's got the PBUI path.
Yeah, because the way I started building this up was I SFTP'd my student machine bashrc onto one of my earlier Linux systems, and now I just do it in reverse. So, like for like the CRC systems or any of the other, nerd name systems, I put this up. But yeah, I have the BUI path. I didn't even realize that. It's still here.
You're probably like slowing down your system by like.
Probably.
You're causing a silent error somewhere, but.
No, it just skips that folder because.
But that path doesn't exist, so there's an error technically.
No, it's not an error.
No,
it just skips over.
It goes to standard error.
No, it's not an error. It just skips over it.
Well, no, but if you tried to CD to that path, it would say herder, not a thing.
But he's not. He's not CD to it.
Yeah.
It's gonna do check, and it's gonna see the file or the folder doesn't exist and just not do anything.
Yeah, but it's an error. You just
actually, I also, this isn't really a bash customization, but on the terminal emulator I use, when you have a really long command that does like lots of lines, it actually puts a colored bar next to that entire command, so you can see like just the chunk that is that command, and that's also useful.
Is that a console thing?
That is a console thing. Yeah.
Hey, man, I'm a big GNOME terminal guy.
Can you link the peeps some links to help them out?
Yeah, so I'll put these in Twitch chat and in the Lug chat on Slack.
Here, I'll handle Twitch chat. You can handle Lug chat.
Okay.
Do it at the same time.
Do we want to do Unix porn? Because that went so well last time. Okay.
Oh, Mike, do you want to talk about what this Oh My Z
Yeah,
is?
so Oh My ZSH. So I'm going to do a quick thing with this. So let me log into this virtual machine. So I'm going to show a quick... go away. I hate KDE.
That's because you don't know what you're doing.
No, just GTK is better, but okay.
No.
I was playing with this because I was trying to convince myself that I could maybe use KDE, but I can't do it. Okay, so
That just means you're not good enough to customize it.
Well, I like things that work out of the box.
Okay, fair.
So can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yep, we can now. Did
you guys notice I dropped out?
Nope.
No, that's another day for you, right, Mr.
Yeah.
My computer literally suspended again.
But no, it's not a Linux thing, dude. It's a hardware issue.
I'm pretty sure it's the Dell dock, dude.
I'm sure the same problem would happen.
You mean the Dell dock's interactions with Linux?
Yes, I'm sure the same problem would happen with
Dell dock.
Windows.
You leave my boy Linux alone.
So back to the regularly scheduled program.
Let me feel how hot this thing is.
Bruh.
Alright, it's not that hot, damn it.
So if you're a Chad ZSH user like me, there's a lot of community, I guess, customization for making ZSH look and feel how you want it. It's kind of, I guess, equivalent could be like the KDE Plasma of the shell, because there's just so much stuff. And you can change literally anything, and there's a bunch of precompiled themes and whatever. But
I mean, ZSH is definitely the Zoomer shell. It's definitely for the newer hipsters and.
Well, it's because it's better.
There's a whole community around it.
It's because it's better.
But, I mean, the point of one of the things is though, customizing it manually is kind of a pain, right?
Yeah.
So
I
people
don't
make these tools.
Yeah. I don't use ZSH. All my ZSH personally, but. If you want to go ahead and install it, if you have ZSH, it's on the student machines. You have to do some weird hacky thing. Oh, I'm a moron. I pasted in the $sign. You have to do a weird hack thing to make it actually work on the student machines, right? But you can run it just fine. Once you're done installing it, it already comes with a theme, out of the box. That's nice. So basically, it allows you to, I think, It does a lot of the other stuff too. So like it's basically just a big like plugin and theme manager thing. Well, it's got a lot of. Does this have a README? No. So I'm doing this on the fly because I've never actually used this before. Oh. So it's pretty simple. So let's go through the plugins. Let's find a plugin that I can actually use without Coffee. Is this CoffeeScript? I don't think that. Can I run CoffeeScript in the shell?
And just to tack on, I saw that you also posted a resource that's similar but for Bash.
Yeah, oh my bash. That's if you don't want to have to do anything weird with ZSH.
You don't want to mess around with the PS1 or
Yeah, say it just works. So I won't pick it. But
if you do want to mess around with PS1, the ArchWiki
is really
article on Bash customization has like everything.
okay.
The ArchWiki in general is a really good Linux reference for a lot of things.
It'll be a good starting point.
Okay, so I just picked NPM because I like that. But so one of the big draws that I see a lot of people using all my ZSH for is the built-in themes. So let's just go ahead and take.
Isn't it slow though? I heard it's slow.
Yeah, so that's kind of my take on it is that it is detrimental. I have a Discord notification coming in. Sorry. It's detrimental to speed, right? So this is a virtual machine that I think has 4 cores and like 8 gigs of RAM. And if I like open a new, that was actually pretty fast. If I want to just open a new terminal, okay, that's actually pretty fast. But one of the biggest complaints about Oh My ZSH is that at like startup time for your shell increases to like a second. And for someone like me who's
Pretty bad for a shell.
and I'm impatient. I'm a normally an impatient person. Like I trimmed down my ZSH install, like not even Oh My ZSH just to have quick startups, but but yeah, say back to Oh My ZSH. Its biggest draw is like theming. I see what's the one that I see a lot like Power 9.
Powerline?
No, it's like 9K or something. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
There's a power. People really like the ones with the solid bars. So like, let's pick Agnoster. I don't know. How do I install this? So I just go to.
Well, let's talk. Let's wrap this up, and then
Yeah.
we can talk about the COVID corner.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll let you do this in the background.
Yeah. We can
As
just
we
talk. We
talked
can
about.
just talk.
Yeah. So let's go to our final segment here, which is COVID corner. Do you want to bring this up, AKK, with tracking COVID at Notre Dame?
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, this is updated from today too.
Yeah, from today.
Yee. Lots of vid at school.
So, well, they updated numbers from yesterday. They updated it down. So, you know.
But apparently, if you're an on-campus freshman and you're watching this stream, I implore you to not get COVID.
Yeah, I implore you to stop getting COVID. Yeah, so apparently, what the provost sent an email basically saying it's like on-campus first years, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
sort
that's
of
what
what
they
I've
said.
been seeing.
Which doesn't make sense to me, but
Because last semester they were blaming off-campus seniors, right?
seniors, yeah.
So I don't know. But
I don't know, man. I don't know. Well, in an effort to promote safe spaces, the university rolled out these quote-unquote quad lodges. Do you want to bring that up?
yeah, I'm pulling it
Yeah.
out.
So I looked
actually
at these
pretty nice.
pictures. I looked at these pictures. I'm like, this is like amazing. But like, it's just like indoors, outdoors, or outdoors,
Yeah.
indoors. I don't know.
What they did is do you remember like having all of the furniture on the quad? They literally just took
Yeah.
that and put it in a big heated
Tent.
tent. I mean, it's not really a tent. It's actually a temporary building. So they're glass walls and
It's indoor.
Like, have you been in
out-
them? Have you been in them?
I have
Like,
been
is
in
it?
I have been in one once just to walk through it. See.
Yeah, so I went through
And that-
one today. It's
How
nice.
was it?
They are pretty nice.
Yeah.
They're warm. It's chairs.
You can't eat in them, which is kind of whatever.
I mean, they look amazing. I'm not gonna lie. They look amazing.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
just like,
in
I just
context, amazing though. It's like we still have to deal with COVID, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And the kind of sad thing about like all the tents and outdoor areas at Notre Dame is they have high ventilation because COVID, which is good, but it also means that they have these huge, really inefficient heaters blowing, like consuming a ton of power, blowing air, and they just have big fans in the walls, just blowing.
That's
all that
not
out.
green, man. That's not green.
So,
Green
not
ND
quite the
is
whole-
in shambles right now.
Yeah,
I know.
It really is.
So is there like a capacity to how many people can go in?
It says they have a capacity. I don't know what
So-
that capacity is, but
Is it
Basic-
warm inside these things?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're all heated, and they're heated pretty well.
Huh. Can you eat inside them?
no,
No,
you
so
can't.
you can only eat
Oh.
in the designated eating tents. They
There's
did actually.
designated
I don't-
eating tents.
Yeah. So next to the dining
Interesting.
halls, they have the outdoor tents that they had last semester. Those are for eating. And then places like Duncan, right? You can't eat anywhere in Duncan, but they open like the 8th floor for eating.
Mhm.
So
Wait, it looks like North has real furniture.
I mean, it looks
What?
like some of the little couches they like had inside the dining hall. I haven't been inside any of the dining halls yet.
a lot of the buildings, right? They had to take a lot of furniture out, so they probably have lots of overflow furniture.
Yeah, say
Wait, is that a video? Can you play the video?
no, there's no video. Oh, this? I guess yeah. Let's take a look. Oh, they got fancy music. Let's see. Oh, it's a 10-minute video. We're not gonna watch this, but
Oh, no, you don't want a 10-minute video.
I'll link it in chat. But
All right, yeah, no, it's fine, it's fine.
I'm still gonna.
I mean,
like it.
chat can just literally go to campus, right?
Yeah, I'm saying
so-
check them out. I guess the main.
I'm like,
oh wait,
yeah.
Pog. I'll add a comment. They didn't disable comments. But
All right, let's go to the last story for tonight. University admits a gazillion people
jeez,
in the largest early action pool ever.
I did not see this.
whoa, I haven't heard this. Oh my God, that's a big number.
That's a huge number. How many people were in our class? Like it was 1,000
But
or
this
so.
is, this is. I think the crazy thing. This is early action.
yeah.
I feel like that's a big number for early action, right?
Is it also normally
That's like-
50% deferred in early action?
Yeah, like as Gavin's saying, it's usually 2K total.
Yeah, so
right?
yeah,
This is
like
So
this is like
Is-
this is
that's
like
the whole class right
75%.
there.
This is like the whole class.
what the heck?
I-
Seems this doesn't. I mean, but COVID, they're like making classes larger.
I guess
I don't know if they're. I'm guessing they're planning on loss, right?
Yeah.
is this loss?
No, I'm guessing they're like, oh, we're probably gonna lose a higher amount of students than normal. I don't know,
I don't know.
or maybe they're trying to lock them in earlier.
Maybe, but like,
You know,
oh, they still only have 2,000 total spots. Oh wow.
yeah, that's crazy.
This
I
just
guess-
makes it kind of sound like they're screwing everyone who's
Regular.
not
Well, who-
early.
Who here applied early action?
I applied early.
I applied
action.
early.
I mean, I think all the people who are serious about it do.
I did not. I did
Really?
not apply early action.
Were you serious
You weren't
about going
serious.
here?
No, I was not.
Well, there you go.
I mean, yeah, I think anyone who wants to go here is going to do early action.
No, I don't think that's
Bro, I
necessarily
was-
true.
Well, no,
I was
guess,
going to
but like,
a UC, man.
what happened,
Yeah, we've
dude?
got quite a few
Yeah,
people
say
in chat who are
regular.
regular.
Wow. So like,
Yeah, I would say figured most people did regular.
there's
Because don't you have to pay extra to do early?
yeah, I think it's like $75.
Bro, that's a lot of money, man.
Oh, Paul was holding for Naval and GT. I don't know where GT is. Georgia Tech. Where did your Paul comment go?
Well, I mean, do you? So I guess in the context of COVID, right? Do you think that students are looking at Notre Dame or like, well, Notre Dame did in person for the most part, whereas Stanford and Harvard are like, thanks, Jock. like no, or like no, we're not doing in person. Do you think like that's a big contributor to like this interest in Notre Dame?
I don't know.
I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So that's huge. Oh, Emily says
Well,
probably.
Football doing well is actually a big thing that usually draws. But I'm just saying, if you look, a lot of students right now looking. Okay, here's the thing: a lot of students in high school are probably in Zoom classroom,
Yeah.
right? And they're like, I don't want that. I already went through, my last year of high school with this. I want in person. If I'm looking around, like all these top schools, they're not in person.
Huh.
Like, because I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I don't think this ends. Like, I don't think COVID goes away, right? Even with the vaccinations, like, I don't have any insider information. I'm not a forecaster. I'm not a medical
Boy
expert.
is a doomsayer.
I'm just saying I don't see what changes between now and August, right? Maybe more vaccinations, but we have different variants, and we're already seeing some variants are not being protected with the vaccines, and so no, I'm not a doomer in the sense that I think I don't want to get into this. Okay, I'll say it anyways. I think it's reaching to a point where we have to sort of live with the reality that it's going to be here,
Yeah.
and that people are going to be like, look, we're not going to be able to prevent it. We can only minimize the risk to the best we can, but we have to, you know.
He died. Good job. You're muted, Zephan. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't. I forgot about it. Oh, that's quite sad.
Bro, it's big tech censorship, dude.
Yeah, he starts talking about
He
COVID.
starts talking about
and
COVID,
about,
Zoom
like,
cuts
vaccines. Yeah.
But he does look cursed.
Ooh, you're being censored.
It's big tech, dude.
Do you want to say that one again?
I don't think you can hear us.
Oh.
It did it again. It did it again.
Welcome
There's
back.
something wrong with my settings. And so anyways. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, folks. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, you guys are leaving, so you guys are like, I don't care, I'm gone.
About
I mean, I might not be gone.
I mean, do you guys feel like this is gonna end eventually?
I feel like no matter what, it's going to leave some kind of profound impact on society where things
Yeah.
won't ever quite be the same. And in terms of like vaccine, I think it's possible if it ends if we vaccine faster and new variants appear, right?
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, like, we don't know if that's going to happen. And it's not just like the United States, right? Like the entire world has to get vaccinated. So I'm hopeful that we start getting, building up some herd immunity, and that vaccine distribution speeds up. And I think that has a possibility of kind of getting rid of COVID in terms of the forefront of everyone's mind. But I think it's still always going to be with us in some respect.
I really do not want to go through another year of Zoom University.
That's gonna suck.
Yeah, this is awful. Like, hybrid classes are awful.
Yeah.
But
I mean, what can you
I
do?
don't know. I mean, I was actually talking to my wife earlier today. I do that sometimes when I'm not playing Wizard of Legend, and I was like, like teaching systems online isn't actually that bad. I mean, I did it last year. I mean, I
Systems is
feel like
pretty
this
suited for
year
it.
it's pretty good. It's fine. Like I'm very tempted to just continue doing it online, but at the same time, I know like it could be a lot better in person. It's just it's like I'm at this weird plateau where it's like it's pretty good. I don't know if I'm gonna
It's
rock the
good
boat.
enough.
It's good enough,
Yeah.
And I mean, I love like not having to change my clothes and just like rolling out of bed and be like, oh, let's talk about the terminal. Let's do this.
And you've done all these lectures so many times that you could probably do them half asleep.
No, I prepare hardcore.
You should
I'm not
release
gonna lie.
systems as a
So,
Udemy course.
I got my fancy binder here with all my notes.
Oh, of course.
Oh.
I got. You guys think I just play video games all day, which
Because
I do.
you do.
But
Yep.
I also do. But I also do a lot of work too. So,
Yeah. I'm the same way except without the work. But
All right. Well, I guess this wraps it up.
Yeah.
We have posted links in our the submission form for the Wizard of Legends Steam code. All you have to do is customize your shell, send us a screenshot, and if there's more entrants than Steam keys, we will just do a simple. We'll do a shell script that picks out the winners.
Aha!
We'll post the shell script.
I remember the
Nice.
last time
Okay.
I tried that. Back in my freshman
No,
year.
we got this.
It did
We
work.
got this. We can do this. We can do this. And so, I guess that's it, right?
I guess,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think so.
Oh, actually, AKK, since we have a couple, maybe 3 new people here, again, if you're looking in the Lug Slack channel, you're like, they never talk at
It's
all
barren.
during the week. It's
Oh,
barren.
yeah.
Yeah.
So can you show them the IRC and just like this is where all the action actually happens.
Yeah, let me pull it up. Okay.
This is where all the memes and not so PC things are said.
Yeah, so this is our primary gathering
Completely
place.
controlled by Andy Lug.
Yeah, so we have
Yeah, completely controlled under our
end-to-end control. But yeah, this is where we primarily talk, just because we like IRC more than Slack. So one of the big things that I guess we're going to try to do eventually. Well, right now we have, if you want to join, is it just reg serve or we'll make documentation for it, but we have the lounge instance, which is a hosted IRC client that's always online. I think Paul and Nolan use it. I can't have chat open at the same time. Stinky, playing with your shell. Jesus. Oh my god. Okay. I know what Zephin's doing.
Oh my god.
So yeah, but if you want to like interact with the club, and by the club I mean primarily me, Bowie, Nolan, and Paul, and sometimes guest appearances from others when we ping them and annoy them. I guess Centipede is on there too a lot. But yeah, come to IRC. I will post a link for that in the Slack. And then one of the other things that we want to do that has more like streamlined is this thing called Element. And it's based on Matrix. I mean, it is basically like a modern chat client like Discord, except it doesn't suck and use Discord.
Doesn't suck in respect to IRC.
Yeah, say it
Well,
use yeah.
Well, you can also tell them about IRC Cloud.
Yeah,
Right.
say
You wanna use that.
I am using IRC Cloud right now, because I'm fickle and I have yet to find a perfect solution for what I want to actually use. use.
That's good. That just means you're, curious and
I'm
adventurous.
in college. I'm exploring.
Yes, exactly. Bowie customized his shell. You change IRC clients.
Yes. Matrix. I've been thinking of downloading it. Yeah, so we're gonna get probably get a Matrix server. Experimenting, my grandma says. Okay. So that way you can connect to to IRC with us. So yeah. I liked matrices in Lineage. So is there anything else we want to talk about?
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So next week we will have a different episode. We will be doing distro tier lists.
It's gonna be
So
fun.
please join us, and we'll take in your input. We'll let you help us vote. Where do you want to put Arch Linux? Obviously the D tier. Or where do you
S
want to put Void Linux? Obviously the S tier.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Sure.
And we'll talk about our reasons for why we put these different distributions on these different tiers.
It might get salty, but we're planning on doing lots of audience interaction. It should be fun.
Should be fun.
All right.
Yeah.
Please chat.
Hopefully my computer doesn't suspend again next week.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's a kernel change.
Bro,
Alright,
you have
update your kernel
to
recently?
find more kernel bugs, dude.
I did upgrade my kernel recently.
Oh.
I did. All right,
Sign
Zephyr.
off, shall we?
Yep.
Okay. Buy System D now for massive stock gains.
System D. SysD is the
System D.
the ticker symbol.
Yep.
AKK.
In the meantime and between time, I hope to see you next time. Here.
All right, Caleb.
Bowie.
Let's say goodbye to them.
Bye.
Hey.
See you guys.
All right.